gets involved in achieving some of their goals. This is what I typically tell people, and this is what I think what science shows us. If you want to lose fat and keep it off long term, you want to lose between 1 to 2 pounds per week.
Yeah.
So
more than that, you'll lose what? Go ahead, share.
Well, more than that, you're losing muscle tissue,
Thank
and
you.
that's going to cause you to rebound.
Right.
You're going to gain it back, and you're going to gain more fat, and you're not going to gain the muscle back, and you're going to become fatter in the long term. You can't sustain much more than that.
Right, and we don't necessarily mean big in fat, although you could. We mean from a standpoint of muscle to fat ratio, which keeps you in that place you were before you started working out.
So let's think about this, George. A lot of people need to lose maybe 70 to 80 pounds.
Okay.
So that takes a 1-year commitment before they're going to get to their ultimate goal. 1 year is 70 to 80 pounds is 1 full year. So don't expect to be where you are in a month or 2 months. Yeah, that first week might be great when you lose 7 pounds, but most of it was water. And it was
Right.
water that you didn't want. It was
Right.
water that was outside of your cells. It was
Right.
causing swelling and puffiness. But that 7 to 12 big burst that you get that first week, which everybody loves, that's not sustainable. You don't have 80 pounds of water to lose.
Have you ever seen someone who's gotten lap band surgery or any type of fat loss surgery, and they've lost over a short period of time 100 pounds and they don't look much different?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not making fun of people. I'm
Yeah,
serious.
you're
Okay.
right. Because they
Often
lose
those
so much
people have.
muscle.
Yeah, often those people have just stopped eating so much and stopped eating the crap. They've lost weight, but they've not done anything to really reshape their body.
Sure.
And the reason I'm mentioning that is because you see, what you said, people who are often in a place that is not healthy may take it as, well, crap, why should I even bother doing it if it's going to take me a year to lose 70 or 80 pounds versus George just mentioning this person who did lap band surgery, losing it in 2 months. You know, what's my incentive? The incentive is when you lose that 70 or 80 pounds in a year, you will look much, much, much better than the person who lost 100 pounds in 2 months because you'll have a different shape to your body and you'll just actually look healthier.
Yeah, people need to also understand that muscle and fat are not the same
Energy.
Well, they're not the same density either.
Right.
A pound of muscle, if you compared side by side a pound of muscle versus a pound of fat, the pound of fat is less dense. It's
Right.
much more voluminous. In other words, it's bigger.
Right. People think it weighs more. It doesn't weigh more.
It
It's
doesn't
just
weigh
bigger.
more. It's bigger. So when you lose 5 pounds of muscle, you're not really that much smaller. When you lose 5 pounds of fat, you're smaller. A
Yeah.
lot smaller than you would be if you lost the muscle tissue. So lose the fat properly and your clothes are going to start feeling baggy. You're going to look smaller. You're going to feel smaller. You're going to be smaller if you lose fat.
Let's stay in the gym for a moment. We talk about managing expectations, and let's say you do perform the proper exercises in a fitness facility or wherever. Maybe it's out at a park. If you're not using the intensity that the body needs for the increased metabolism, adding muscle, and you stop when you start to feel a burn, follow that. If you stop exercising when you begin to feel a burn, then you're stopping or ending the exercise right at the point where the body needs it most. It needs to burn the fuel. It needs to use that fuel, that extra that you've got. So go beyond the burn.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I tell my patients is don't stop when it starts to burn. When it starts to burn, that's when the exercise begins. That's when the stimulation begins. George, when you start to feel that muscle burn, the only thing you can burn for energy is sugar. You're burning all the sugar out of your system. That way, when you get all the sugar, the excess sugar out of your system, your body has no choice but for the rest of the entire day to burn fat for energy because you don't have all that excess sugar. So that's our goal. Get the sugar out of there by burning it, making those muscles burn, and then you're going to convert your body and make your body a more efficient fat burner.
And we've talked about that. I can't say how many times when we've
So
talked
many
about
times.
burst training. This was just a backdoor approach, and you got people, and good for you. Any questions or comments today? We can only take a couple of them because we've got a lot of stuff we're talking about. 214-787-1310. Or toll-free 877-528-1310. So in a gym, George, you mentioned earlier about a personal trainer. I can't afford a personal trainer in this economy. If you have the ability to knock out, or just stop having alcohol for a week or two, you have the ability to have a personal trainer write a program for you at one time that you can use that's tailored to you so you don't see what other people are doing in the gym that maybe is not a best exercise for your body. It's not healthy for you, you don't want to do it, or you want to do it but you can't do it and shouldn't do it. Then you also have this program that'll help you to, have some direction. I often feel that people don't have direction, so they fall off the train, so to speak.
Yeah, and people start doing the same thing. They get into ruts, too.
Yeah.
The great thing about a trainer is they know a million different exercises that all can get results, and they'll vary it, and they'll switch it up.
Yeah, but most trainers suck. You know how I feel about trainers.
Well,
anyway,
we've got some good trainers.
Tina, you can always call Tina Burnett and email me for her information. But let's go ahead. Let's take a call real fast. Davey, pull up Mike in Dallas. You're on the ticket, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I was wondering, I recently went to the doctor and had some labs done, and cholesterol came back like 163, but HDL cholesterol was too low, and triglycerides were high. And I'm a little confused. It sounded like the cholesterol was good, but I had two readings that were off. And I was just wondering, what you would recommend as far as a certain type of diet and what types of exercise. I mean, I've tried to get back in and start doing some, a little bit of aerobics and weights both together.
Mike, there's not a show long enough or that could work in your favor without you being tested first to find out what you need. That's being assessed by a trainer to find out what your limitations are. That's being assessed by someone like Dr. Webster to find out what your body needs and doesn't need. And that's the premise of this entire show, for people to stop for a moment, recognize where they are, what they need to do, seek out a professional. I don't care if it's one time. At least you've got direction. And that's what we need direction. So what we want to do is we'll address the cholesterol question because there's many people in your boat. What was your total cholesterol again?
Yes, 163.
163. Now, often people will think, wow, that's a good number. Your HDL, do you remember what that number was?
31.
31. I'm surprised you're still alive. What was your LDL?
That's triglyceride?
No.
No.
What was your triglycerides? Do you know those?
233.
233. I'm surprised you're on the phone still. I'm glad that you're still with us. We're going to let you hang up and we'll answer that question, okay?
Okay, Mike, this is what triglycerides and cholesterol I don't even think should be on the same panel personally.
No.
Triglycerides is truly pure fat that's in your blood. It tells you if you're an efficient fat burner. You're probably not, since you've got a lot of fat floating around in your blood. You would not have a lot of triglycerides. They would be below 100 if you were an efficient fat burner. So we need to figure out why you're not burning fat efficiently. Probably your body's basically a sugar burner. As far as cholesterol below 180 is when death rates start to increase, actually. So you're actually at a little bit of a risk since your cholesterol is that low. Cholesterol is far too important for it to be low. We make all of our hormones out of it. We make vitamin D out of it. It repairs us. It's an antioxidant. It's an anti-inflammatory. On and on and on and on. George has shows on the podcast where we've done entire shows about cholesterol. HDL is nothing but a transport molecule that transports cholesterol from the site of damage back to your liver. It's not good cholesterol. It's not bad cholesterol. There is no such thing. It is what it is. So you may not have very much damage in your body, therefore your body doesn't need that much HDL.
So let's give him and others in his boat the same a very fast protocol, something you and I talked about on the show, what I did this morning. What did I say?
Well, it's as simple as this. If you're worried about cholesterol, you're worried about cardiovascular disease, come in and see me and I'll give you a panel of things that actually reflect your true risk for cardiovascular disease, all of which we can focus in on and treat if they are out of balance.
Okay, coming up next, we're going to give you some tips. We'll take maybe another call or two. We're going to give you some tips about what we feel is best for anybody who wants to start this program, because I know that it can be overwhelming, everything that we've given you right now. And if we can give you some small steps to take that everybody can take right now, we think it'll put you in the right direction. We'll talk with Dr. Webster, 747 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. 756 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. Dr. Webster's on the show today, and we're talking about steps to take to help you attain your fat loss goals or any fitness goals. What are they? Somebody just called a little while ago and said he talked about his cholesterol. His cholesterol is 163. Doctors would applaud that because it's so low, not recognizing that the ratios can be dangerous. And I was messing with the last caller, said, man, I'm surprised you're still alive and that you're still here. I didn't mean that. I was having fun. But at the same time, he is at risk. More people die, and I want you to listen to this, more people die from cholesterol levels that are too low than that are too high. What do I mean by that? That the good cholesterol, the one that's the transporter, the HDL, when you think of HDL, think of the good cholesterol, think of George DeJohn, use the H as hyper. HDL, it's hyper. It moves through the system very fast, okay? Or it moves through the system, rather, versus being sluggish and lazy like the LDL. Your LDL levels when they're